instead.
The pool's 20 by 50.
And they,
25 by 50.
at the pharmacy in town,
That's what they bought.
at the pharmacy in town,
good Lord.
on Friday and Saturday nights.
That is
you could
sketchy
get
with a
this
capital
thing.
S.
Well, do you know, the building was so bad that we had a living room with a cathedral ceiling. You know why? The second floor was so
Fell in.
unstable, they had to tear it out.
So what would you say the square foot of this original piece was?
Well,
1,000 square feet, maybe?
probably,
Which one?
yeah.
The original house that
The
they
original house,
purchased.
the Weaver house.
Oh, I've never.
Oh, 1,000 feet, Dad? No, that was bigger than.
Oh, no, well, I mean, it was the second floor.
Oh, the second
Yeah.
floor.
This was the Reaver
There's
house?
what it turned out to be.
That was the original, that was when Grandpa
Oh
bought
my
it.
God. Oh, I had no idea.
And then this was the.
Oh my God.
This became the kitchen.
I had no idea. That's ridiculous.
And it was so cockeyed
Oh,
that
okay.
everything had to
This
be
is what-
built
I've
to
never
the
seen that. I've
eye.
never seen that picture. Have you seen that picture?
That's,
No,
that's,
I've
the,
never
that's,
seen
what
it.
it, that's what they bought.
Oh, you have a
That heat.
picture?
And,
Yeah.
yep, and that's what it turned out to be.
That's
Yeah.
what they originally bought.
That's nothing that I recollect.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Don't tell your sister that we did this. She'll be really sad.
And Peggy?
Yeah.
Why?
She loves these stories, talking to
It
grandpa.
was a beautiful
Oh,
house.
yeah.
You kids would have had a terrible time up there. One of the reasons is, everything was school bus. Who did the kids play with?
Well,
Our nearest neighbor, who didn't have children, was 3/4 of a mile away.
yeah, that would
And
be a hard.
that's a
would be
real,
hard
that
place.
was a real problem,
In those
with
days,
the
in the
people.
country,
Yeah.
They didn't have telephone lines like they have today.
Well, what's the
They
age
had what they
difference
called the
between you
party
and your
line.
brother Jim?
And there was a different ring
What
for
do you
each
mean?
household. It was
Well,
the
how-
same
how old-
line.
what was
Well,
it?
about
a different
18 months.
ring for each
We
household.
were pretty
So
close,
whenever you
actually.
heard the phone
But I
ring,
mean, and we
had each other.
would play with
pick up
each
the
other.
phone so we could
But I
hear the
mean, where was
conversation
anybody else?
Our neighbors.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, you
Up
want
2
to play
miles down the road,
baseball.
perhaps.
This was.
You gotta
this
have
was
a
in-
car and all that sort of crap.
This was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
This was what they
But
originally
that's not where you
purchased.
live, right?
You have this
Yeah.
with you?
Grandpa,
No,
was
they
this
lived
your,
in-
this
It
was
was-
this
it
your
was-
home?
It
Oh
was,
my God, it's palatial.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
That's the revised one.
that's unbelievable.
Is this a deck off your parents' bedroom?
Yeah. Well, no, it isn't. It was a tin roof, and you couldn't walk on it, but you'd have to go through a window.
This side.
You couldn't. There was no door to it, and it was not built for that as a deck, even though there was a fence
This was
around
a
it.
badminton
Do
court.
that.
And then over here,
Where did you get the cookies?
there was a lake.
You brought them from last
Is
night.
there
You
something-
took every one of them home with you.
Yeah, and
Gee.
there was one of those pop-up trailer tents. And
I'll take water.
And then what they did with this house is they added on.
Just regular milk.
wing, which
If
was
there
the
is
living room.
almond milk
The
front.
barn.
Almond milk front.
House, yeah.
Yeah, almond milk.
I wouldn't be able
How
to.
old?
Turn this thing off.
How old were you when they sold it?
Why?
I'll just give them a splash of this.
Your mother and I were married, and we used to go up there when Karen was a baby, and then Guy was a baby,
And Hank.
and they were still there.
And Hank.
Hank was a baby.
They didn't move
Don't forget
across the
about Hank.
street until what happened is they had a guy living up there was taking care of the livestock and everything, who was extremely good. And he decided he wanted to go back into town. And that was when Mom and Dad decided, that they were living up there, and the place was just too goddamn big. So
he
they
had
moved across
So
the
he had
street.
retired,
He had retired, and they were living.
sold the place in Belrose.
Yep.
He retired from the bank, right?
A little bit.
He had 3 heart
Wash
attacks,
it down.
and
In his, thanks, honey.
well, I'm sorry, he had 2.
How old was he?
So
He was
Dad,
55.
so Dad, he retired from the bank, right?
55, and he just went into the president and said, 3 strikes, you're out.
He retired from the bank.
What?
He retired from the bank, right?
No, he was the executive vice president. He would have been the president if he hadn't had the heart attack.
Well, but from the bank.
Yeah. That's where he retired.
And he had
Yeah,
two
he
heart-
was in the,
He had two heart attacks.
he was in the,
55.
I didn't know.
Yes.
he was in
It's
the
okay. I wouldn't
brokerage
make this
business.
again.
And then
Would you like some?
Walked
So-
in and quit.
retired to Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
lived there for a few years.
Stuff.
Oh, they lived there for,
More pizza than I've had in months.
Me too.
he was only in Florida about 4 years before he died.
How long were they in
He
Pennsylvania?
retired at
But he-
55.
Oh,
You know,
And he
both
died at
his
72.
father and my mother's
So he
father,
was,
you know,
he
they were
left
hard
Pennsylvania at
working
about 68.
guys, and
So they were there for a good solid 10,
Oh,
12
yeah.
years.
the age where they drank
Yeah,
a lot.
they loved it up there.
and they-
But
I don't really know this.
he was
I know-
always
I know-
futzing,
I
and
know
somebody
about
was
my
painting
mother's
the
father.
house
Really
I know
roof,
about my mother's father.
the siding,
And, you know, they drank.
and they were on the ladder. They were off the ladder,
Manhattan's
and he needed more paint. So Dad said, "I'll bring the paint up to you. Don't come down," because he, didn't want him to stop or anything. He gets on the ladder, climbs up. The ladder moved, fell off the house, and he managed to get his ankle underneath the ladder when he came down on it. And he was a big man. He shattered his ankle in, I think it was nine breaks. So
think
all
about
of a sudden, the worst winter that I can ever remember hit up there, and here's this man that big with his wife who is, 5'4" and half the
Tiny.
weight,
He can't go around.
in a wheelchair. And
So
that
think-
put a lot of pressure on leaving that
think
cold
about
area.
Ernest Hemingway. That's who our grandfather was.
Where's the other?
Right here.
He was this big man.
And he was
Bigger than
born,
life man.
He was
grew up
born
in Niagara Falls, right?
Yeah, one of them. I never knew exactly which one was which, but apparently the only clue they never talked about there.
Why you can't ride around your thing?
But his one was in Niagara Falls and one was in Buffalo.
Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't have seen it.
And there was an announcement I found some papers where there was a wedding announcement.
Right, you
And
shared
that's the
some
only
of
way
that.
I knew where they came from.
Father was.
They never
grandfather
talked about their background at all.
And their parents were from Chicago.
in Brooklyn.
Your
Not that I-
your
He had
grandparents.
his own
No.
store.
No, my grandparents
Yeah,
were
and that's
basically
what
from
it's
Buffalo.
always, you know,
You know,
for an immigrant.
Grandpa Terhune had a supermarket,
Was he first
by
generation?
himself.
Buffalo,
Yeah, he came here by
which was
himself when he
unheard of.
5. They
What about
put him on a
Chautauqua?
boat.
Oh, you
huh?
can't.
What about Lake Chautauqua?
There was an aunt
It just.
or an uncle or somebody. There was a relative down there that had a
Hotel.
It just.
hotel on Lake Chautauqua, yeah, that
know,
burned
it
down.
Makes me
You
so
know,
And you
sick.
never, that was all well before
makes you
your
cry.
Yeah, that was all. I never even
It's
saw it. I've never been to Lake
generations ago.
Chautauqua.
In
This
terms,
was the
in terms
level,
of,
yeah,
you know, this,
yeah.
oh my God.
But you know, you
just-
think about the Cubans sent their kids over here.
I remember
Yeah,
Uncle
and
Bill
boats,
talking
you know,
about,
Children.
spending
I read the
summers
book,
there
I
as a
can't remember the name
kid.
of it now, but
That sort of
they
thing,
just sent
so.
them over with like the names of somebody who might maybe
Might-
take
Did
them
Uncle
in.
Bill live in,
And
Oh
they'd
my
get
God.
off the boat and, and
Did
this
Uncle
was
Bill
like in
live
the
in
50s and
Long
60s,
Island?
They were